Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, I make sure my family's always stylish, and all I want in return are those 3 little words.
Thank you, Mom.
Nope.
All on sale?
Yes.
Go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, get 30% off your entire purchase at Old Navy's Thank You event.
30% off everything, even jeans, sweaters, and jackets?
30% off all of it, and Old Navy card members get 40% off at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
I heard that.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 10/11 to 10/15. Excludes in-store clearance, gift cards, register lane items, jewelry today only, and 2-day only deals. 40% off are subject to credit approval. See stores for details and exclusions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know. When I compliment her, she won't believe me, and it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing. Her lips, I could kiss them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates, but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know, I never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are, the way you are, girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is Friday night here at Off the Chain. I am your host, Yvonne Mason, once again with a scratchy voice, still fighting bronchitis or pneumonia. Don't know which, but I'm taking antibiotics for either one, so it ought to work out. That was Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, and I played that song tonight because today is a very special day. Of course, it is Friday the 13th. And the funny thing about today being Friday the 13th is those of you who have followed this show since the inception know that the very first show that we did and the very first anniversary show we did was in honor of my little granddaughter, Ramonda Victoria Highfield, who we lost in 2015, who was 13 at the time. Well, today was her 16th birthday. And I'm sure she's laughing herself silly that her birthday was on Friday the 13th. The girl had a wicked sense of humor. And one of the last videos that we had of her was her singing that song, sitting in a swing. And she had finally come to the realization, with all of the health issues that she had, that she was beautiful just the way she was. So that song is in honor of her today. And also my oldest granddaughter, her sister, Brittany Davidson, who was honored at high school tonight. This is her last year. She is a senior, and this is her last year. And she was honored with her mother's hair escort, walking her onto the football field in her ROTC uniform. She is Second Lieutenant Brittany Davidson. She will be going into the service when she graduates in May. I am so proud of both of those girls because Ramonda still lives in the bodies of several other people, including a little girl who is now 14 years old who has her heart. So, yes, it has been a poignant day, but a good day. We celebrated Ramonda's life, and we celebrated Brittany being a senior. So thank you for allowing me to add that news. Now, tonight, I have to say thank you to my guests, like my guest tonight, author Sabine Priestley, and all of you listeners, and all of my past guests, all of my future guests, and those that keep coming back, because, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached a milestone with this show. This morning I ran the numbers. We're at 59,230 listeners. We are 770 listeners away from 60,000 listeners on the show. We are at 74,487 listeners worldwide with all the podcasts on 70-plus countries. We are only 5,513 listeners away from 80,000 listeners. So all of you are so special to me because you allow the guest to be heard in places they will probably have never been heard before, would not have been heard had not this show come about. It's not my show. It is our show. And I am very humbled and appreciative for your continued support, especially Australia. They are 98% of the listening base for this show. And the Teskey brothers, Australia, you have a jewel in that group. They are Otis Redding, B.B. King, Robert Johnson, Johnny Lang, and all the other blues singers wrapped into one nice, tight package. So if you get a chance, go listen to them. Now, as I said tonight, my guest is author Sabine Priestley, and this woman is amazing. I can't wait to start talking to her. She is the author of Sci-Fi, Urban Fantasy, and Paranormal Romance. Sabine grew up consuming science fiction, fantasy, and romance novels, and she threw this in. There was a brief bodice ripper period, but we won't go into that. And she's listened to this show before, so when I'm handed this kind of a tidbit, yeah, we probably will go into it. She wanted to be an astronaut and travel the stars looking for aliens, but she ended up becoming an electrical engineer and a cultural anthropologist. Sabine is a geek with a heart. She's seriously disappointed we've yet to establish so much as a moon base, so she's watching Moon Express and encouraged by the recent developments by such superstars as Elon Musk, Sir Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos, among others. Sabine is a travel addict, a beach-loving, stargazing disruptor. Her heroines, I cannot talk, are kick-ass, and her stories are action-packed. She is my kind of woman. Welcome, Sabine. I am so glad you're here with me tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, a little more than a little nervous, as I am a radio broadcast virgin.
Let me tell you what, honey. It's just me and you having a nice conversation. So just take a deep breath, sit back, and we're going to have a ball. Because I want to know, with all of this, how did you get here? As a child, did you look up in the stars and say, I'm going up there? Was this on your writing? Was it on your bucket list? Tell me your journey.
Okay, so I'll try and encapsulate it quickly. Yes, I always looked up to the stars. I always wondered what was out there and who was out there, and the night skies fascinated me from day one. The writing saying that was different. Apparently I did dream of being a writer, but I'd kind of forgotten about it. But I came across a book. My mom, who passed away last year, had given me a book that had been tucked away, and when I found it, there's an inscription inside about always follow your dreams. My mom was brilliant about that. And the writing didn't come about until around 22. It was probably like 2009. I had a dream. I'm a freak when it comes to dreams. I remember way too many dreams. A constant refrain of mine is, okay, did I dream this or did blah? You know, I mean, if you're flying, then yes, it's a safe bet that you dreamt that. But if you're having a conversation with someone, it's not always clear because we do have a lot of mundane dreams. And anyways, I had this dream on the way back from London, and I wrote what is undoubtedly the most horrific contemporary romance ever. And then I went to Florida Writers Association annual conference and realized I didn't know anything about writing, but I wanted to. I live in Florida, obviously, and it is a fantastic organization. And those people, that conference opened my eyes, and that started my journey. That's what started going. But the genre, the science fiction romance, that's my love. It's my true love. Because yes, there was a bodice ripper period in there. I mean, come on, it's probably a rite of passage, but the stars and science and space and everything never left me. And when it was Ginny Cock has the alien, I can't think of the name of her series, but she does this series, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and I loved it, and I had fun reading it, and I thought, I want to do this. I can do this. So that's when I started just consuming. I took classes. I went to conferences. I read books. I wrote. I went to critique groups. I critiqued. And with everything you do, you learn and you grow. And, you know, I mean, the books that I'm writing now are different than the first one that I wrote, but this is it. This is my love and my passion.
You said something that resonated with me because when you said that you wondered if you dreamed it or you lived it, would it not? Mm-hmm. Because I think that we live different lives. There have been times when I've done something and I have said, I have done this before. Or I have met someone and I've said, I know this person. And I had not ever seen them in this lifetime, but I knew them instantly. So maybe, just maybe, it did happen to you in another lifetime. I think that's possible. I think the vast majority of those instances are, in fact, just mundane dreams. But there are those dreams that are, they're extraordinary. They're off the norm. They're out of the norm. And yes, I have absolutely no problem going there and believing that is a distinct possibility, especially because when you look at really cool things that are going on, I'll just jump in. When you look at the amazing place that we're at right now in life, and by that I mean technology, we're on a cusp. If anybody that's following Peter Diamandis and everything that's going on, Peter Diamandis has this, the abundance theory. And I love this. I love this on so many levels. We are on the cusp technologically on multiple fronts, on genetic engineering,
on bioengineering, and on nanotech. We've got, AI is coming on. We've got all these things that are set to take off and explode. It's scaring a lot of people. AI in particular is scaring a lot of people. But I don't think it's going to be, this is not, we're not going to have Skynet. This is not Terminator. But it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be interesting, and it's happening now. So I could go on and on and on about different areas of technology that are taking off. And so I'm really excited. I kind of diverged into the world of urban fantasy and paranormal because I wanted to, and I could do that. But next year, actually even this year, with some of the releases I've done, I'm back into science fiction. And I'm doing an even cooler thing next year with multi-author group that is looking at our near future. And by near, I mean 30 to 50 years. I wrote a short piece for a contest that just kind of helped solidify it for me, because we really, truly are it's an amazing time to be alive. If you're paying attention.
Go ahead.
No,
it reminds me.
If you're paying attention to.
It reminds me of the book 1984. It reminds me of but we're both so passionate about this. It reminds me of the book 1984 because I read that in the 60s, or I think 60s is when he wrote it.
Yeah.
And we're beyond there now.
We are, and it took us so long to get here. This is. In that little biography, I'm so frustrated that we should have flying cars and a lunar base by now. But we stopped. The Cold War did two things. It did actually help us progress our space, but it also stopped everything. It stopped everything.
Did.
We got a man on the moon, and then we just segued and got distracted. So we're back now, and we're doing some amazing stuff. So SpaceX is, Elon wants to go to Mars. That's his thing. And I did this great, not to brag, but let's just call it an entertaining recap on his talk that he had in Australia on the space industry. The man is brilliant. The man is not just SpaceX. He's got Tesla, and he's got the Boring Company, and he's got the solar power. What human can do all of this? And I'm kind of half convinced he's part alien, or maybe he's going to take over the world. I don't know. But so that's super, super exciting. And I live in Florida, and I can actually see the contrails when the launches go off from the NASA base. And then there's Moon Express, which is they want to mine the moon, which is
really
cool. And
I did not know that.
They want to mine the moon. Now, they're not going to destroy it. It's not going to be like strip mining, but they want to get to the moon and do this. Blue Origins, all these companies are doing it. Branson? Branson wants to open up space tourism. Yes, I'm there. Somebody needs to help me pay for it, but I am there. Take me up into space, please. But all this stuff is actually happening. All this stuff that I dreamed about, and it sounds like you probably did too, back when we were growing up.
Uh-huh. And it's amazing that it took us so long to get here, because it wasn't for lack of knowledge and technology. They hid it. I feel like that our government. I feel like this. Our government, on some level, has slowed down the process by hiding. You know, we had computers in the '60s that nobody knew about.
I don't know if they hid it. I think it was more a question of there were things deemed more important. There was, the apparently World War, a new World War that was looming, and I don't know. Human beings are strange animals.
They are. But, well, maybe let's say they didn't hide it so much as creating a war so they could make money and spend money, because our wars are politician wars anyway. That got on the back burner. And our technology is, who would have thought that you and I would be having this conversation via satellite and computers, and it's heard all over the world. It's amazing the things that we get to do now.
It's truly amazing the things that we get to do now. And this segues really nicely into where I was going before, in that we are on the brink. We're on the brink of truly a new day. And part of that is because access to the web is becoming universal. We are launching satellites, and people have technologies, balloons in some places, that are providing internet access to everyone. If they have any kind of a smartphone, they've got access to information, and the information is free. Well, what that means is that some poor child in Africa has access to the same information that Bill Gates' children have access to.
Isn't that marvelous? There's no excuse. There's no excuse for people to be uneducated anymore.
There isn't. There absolutely isn't. And it's a beautiful, brilliant thing. And there are so many minds out there that are just literally coming online. It's exciting.
And I love every minute.
It's fantastic. Yeah, me too. Me too.
And I am talking to a brilliant mind. I worked for an electrical engineer many, many years ago, and I absolutely loved his mind. I could listen to him all day long. And not only did you do that, but a cultural anthropologist. Let's talk about that, because anthropology is the essence of mankind, is it not? It tells us where we've come from, which is important as to where we're going.
It is. So that came about because I had, and still have, a real fascination with Russia. And I wanted to learn about the nexus of technology and culture. And I had this fascination with Russia, and I'm not quite sure where it started from, but what I wanted to do was, again, look at technology and culture. I knew my culture. I know America. And I wanted to delve into it in another country. So I picked Russia. And so I did the whole bohemian thing. I was working full time. What was I doing at the time? I think I was doing compatibility studies for a network company, Artisoft. That this is a network company before anybody knew what networking was. So this was right in the late 80s, and I stopped. I went back to grad school and started working full time, and lived on very, very little, just so I could do this. And it was University of Arizona. I had a champion there who has since passed away, but I was able to go to grad school and study technology and cultures and the nexus therein. And I made a lot of people really angry because I never finished my thesis. I did everything but my thesis, because Artisoft tapped me on the shoulder at some point and said, look, we'd like you to be the project manager between Tucson, which is where I was living at the time, and Boston. And it was such an exciting prospect that I went for it. And my friends are like, wait, you have to finish. You have to get your thesis. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. I got what I wanted out of it. I'm good. I don't need the certificate on the wall. I'm totally good. So, so I went back to the corporate world after that. Yeah, I went back to the corporate world after that. But I'm glad I did it, because I do think it informs a lot of what I do, and especially next year. Like I said, I'm really getting into a lot of this stuff more. When you're dealing with an alien entity, a culture of any kind, that's, when you go between Americans and Russians, you've got this dichotomy, you've got this difference.
And that is a fascinating culture. Years and years and years ago, when I was a young teenager, I'm talking 13, 14, some of my favorite reading was Russian authors.
Really?
Yes.
Now, how did that come about?
I'm not sure, but I picked up Dr. Zhivago, and of course, you know, the book is, it's like a doorstop.
Yeah.
And I read, it is. I read that entire book, even with all of the archaic language in it, and it was like a movie rolling around in my head. And then I saw the movie, and of course, it was nothing like the book. It never is. But I got so immersed in that time period and that author, I turned around and read, of all things, Anna Karenina.
Yeah. I read that too.
And they, to study that culture and to study the people of that country, it is fascinating because some of the most beautiful architecture and clothing comes out of Russia.
Yeah, and they are amazing people. So I was fortunate enough to I did well. I'm not a millionaire, but I did well in my first job after I graduated, and I went. So I took a 6-week hiatus from my work after I'd been there not that long, frankly, a year and a half or something. And I went to Moscow and I studied Russian for 3 weeks, and then I studied traveled around Europe for another 3 weeks. So it was, and I was in my mid-20s and trip of a lifetime. I loved it. It was fantastic, and I will never forget. So it was a work, not work study, but it was the program was study Russian for 3 weeks intensely, and you live with a Russian family. And so I lived with a woman and her daughter in a little apartment outside Moscow. And I'll tell you, like a lot of cultures, but if you're on public transportation or you meet them or you're walking down the street, you know, they're aloof and they keep to themselves. But if you somehow meet them, truly meet them, go to their house or introduce to them, they're just one of the most open, gregarious, fun-loving people you will ever meet.
And they're so resilient. Can you imagine living in a country that's cold 90%?
Yeah.
Not just cold, but bitter cold with snow and 90% of the time?
Yeah, and they have this thing with ice cream in the winter.
Really?
They're always eating ice cream. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the temperature is. There's always ice cream available. I don't know. I love that about them.
I don't know if you listened to the show last Wednesday night when I interviewed Glass Hamlet. He and his mother came to the States from Russia when he was a child. You got to go back and listen to that show because you'll be fascinated.
Yeah, I will.
I'm telling you.
I will.
So, in all of your travels and your jobs and your studies, that comes through, does it not, in your writing?
Yeah, of course. Everything we do informs who and what we are. They're just experiences. All of that is...
Well, in your paranormal romance, your urban fantasies, your sci-fi, you have to draw on your personal experiences. I know you do because you have done so much and have so many things that are in your life that your books have to be fantastic.
I think they're getting better all the time. I think I'm like any artist, any creator. It's not a you don't learn to write and then just write. It's a journey.
No.
I'm devouring books and taking more classes and working with different editors. And it's a journey. You know, if you read Alien Attachments, which is the first book that I wrote, versus A Tainted Magic, which is it would be what's the name? It would be I'm having a brain fart here.
That's okay. I have them all the time. Don't worry about
Sensate. It would be Sensate, which I just released. You would find that the writing is very, very different, and it's a journey. Sorry, this has been a crazy year. I will, as of early mid-November, I will have released 5 titles since June 1st. So
You've been a busy lady. You've been crazy.
I have been a very
busy
lady. I had to make up for 2016. 2016 sucked in many, many, many levels. So
I understand.
I'm making up for that. Yeah.
I understand.
We all have those years, right?
Yes, we do. We do. In fact, I found something when I went and deep dived you, which if you've listened to my shows, you know I do that quite a lot with my guests. But you say something that I live by and have lived by for a long, long time when I found out that by not doing it, it was creating problems that I didn't want to have in my life. And what you say is, lose those who bring you down. Yeah. You have to, and that's easier said than done. It used to not be for me, but now it's very easy to do. I can be civil and I can be kind, but I don't go out of my way to hook my star to those types of people, because what happens is they reflect back off of us, and as writers, we have a tough enough time in this environment doing what we do without people bringing us down because they have no dreams or goals, or they have them, but they don't have the courage to go out and get them. Yeah, absolutely. I think that ties in very, very, very closely with life is what you make it. It is absolutely what you make it. And we all know those people. God bless them, that all they want to do is complain. Their life never goes well. It's full of drama and it's full of angst. And, every time you talk to them, it's just a bitch session of how horrible things are. And, sometimes those people are family, and sometimes they're, they're longtime friends. And I think that's what last year did for me, because I was just, so many things went wrong with people dying last year and things dying last year that I didn't have the capacity to be around that anymore. Well, what happens? Well, it steals your energy. It does. It absolutely does. That's they feed off of you, and they leave you with nothing. And I don't mean you personally, but they leave us with nothing because they've taken everything that we've gotten. So there's no creativity. There's no good auras around us, because what we did is unconsciously is we filled ourselves back up with their negativity. Yes. Yeah, energy. I'm a huge proponent of energy, that which we don't see. I don't mean electricity. I mean that which is what psychic energy, I guess, is what you call it, because at the end of the day, that's all we have. That is what comprises our existence, and it's frustrating at times that energy can be hard to find and hard to corral. I think there are ups and downs. I mean, another thing I like to say, and it's absolutely true, is that without the ups, without the downs, I should say, that the ups would be meaningless. So we actually do need this contrast in our lives. But you don't need ups and downs, the highs and lows. But you don't need an overdose of it. No. And that's the trick, is to always focus and on the highs, and to try and stay on the highs. But realize when shit happens, if you will, and it does, right? And it does. Yes. Life happens. Horrible things happen. People die. When that happens, you just get through it with grace. And with compassion and knowing that you're going to be back up again. Well, my father taught me a very valuable lesson, even as a little child. because he and I used to discuss death a lot, and I lost him 6 weeks after I lost my granddaughter. So there were 2 back-to-back deaths and 3 trips to Atlanta all within a 6-week period. But I was okay with it because what my father taught me was, Yvonne, we start dying from the day we're born, and everything dies. There's a cycle. It is called the cycle of life. You're born, you live, you die. It is just the way it is. It doesn't mean that we've left you. It doesn't mean you forget about us. It just means that we were there for a while and now we're no longer here.
Okay, how do you think about the well, we touched on this earlier. So reincarnation. So when you die, this is just this body, or what are your thoughts? I'm curious. My
thoughts is, of course, I feel like we have a soul, and I feel like that soul goes somewhere, and who's to say that that soul does not come back in another life or in another person? Because there's been too many things that have happened, like I said, that have happened in my life that I've said, I've done this before, or I've been here before, or I know this person before. So I believe there are times when we do come back.
Yeah.
Maybe we're recycled. Maybe we're given a second opportunity to do better. I don't know.
Well, okay, so go to the soul, right? We all have the soul in different religions. Different people call it different things. But we come here to create. To experience a physical body, to experience a corporal form in a physical body. That's kind of what I think. And so each life is just that. We are creators. We are living this physical life, but it's only part of us. As like you said, when you have these memories and these things, you realize that there's more to you than this bag of bones and liquid and kind of really fragile thing that humans are.
and think about it. We leave something when we're no longer here. We leave a part of ourselves behind. We leave the essence of who we are with others, so that they either have a good memory of us or they say, I'm glad that bitch is dead. But we do leave a memory. We leave a memory.
Right.
And
true.
Maybe we help someone do better for themselves or fulfill a dream or become another electrical engineer or help towards the future with the children. We have a purpose.
That's the thing. We do. And there's no better feeling than helping somebody rise. And in whatever way, shape, or form, helping somebody rise is, it doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't.
It does not get it. So let's help you rise. I want to talk about your wonderful books because I promised you that we would talk about them because you are, and people are going to love you. No, y'all can't go now, ladies and gentlemen. You got to wait till after the show's over because you're going to miss out. Because Miss Sabine has written things like Orange Gate. Now, this is an interesting concept. Tell me a little bit about Orange Gate.
Okay, it's Orion's Gate, and yes, it's fun. It's a really fun concept. So I have 2 releases this year that tie into my very original science fiction romance series. Orion's Gate is one of them, and I like this for a number of reasons. So Orion's Gate ties in with Sense8. Now, Sense8, I just have to give this shout out because I'm really proud of this. Sense8 is part of a anthology that is Pets in Space. How cool is that, right? Pets in
Space. Is very cool.
I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. Everybody's got pets, and we're talking about having pets in space. And the pets are integral to the story in one way, shape, or form. And we're all science fiction romance writers, so it's about bringing people together. I love this thing. But the thing that I truly love about it, it's actually the second anthology that they have done, and it is 10% of the first month's proceeds go to hero dogs, which being from a military thing, you'll get hero dogs specially trained dogs to help vets with PTSD, and it's all free for them. They just get the dogs, and it helps them deal with this. So love that. I'm really, really proud of that and glad that we're supporting that. So Sensate is great because it delves into what does it mean to be sentient. The whole premise of that one, is show Marco's comm unit becomes sentient and he wants a body. And how does that happen? And so that's really fun. Orion's Gate is this is my last release this year, and I'm still in heavy edits for it right now. It's coming out fast and furious. That one's great because it ties together, like I said, the existing world that I created, but it's that and Sensate are kind of launching me into next year and the new stuff that I'm doing. And it's about a lot of people do portals in science fiction. A lot of people do portals, and Orion's Gate. Orion is this entity, this alien entity that is responsible for the portals in my first series. He's fascinated by humans and humanoids and Sandarians, who are these humans that have psi. And he's particularly fascinated by the ones that are newly bonded, because when you bond with a psi mate, it's a spiritual thing and a sexual thing, and you just have to read it. But so that this entity, this alien entity, is out there, and now he's in this book, and he's creating portals, not just interstellar but intergalactic. So I'm now outside of this galaxy. I've left the galaxy because of this sentient race, which is still a big mystery. We know nothing about them. So I'm looking forward to exploring them and what they are. That'll be fun. That'll be a whole lot of fun.
Tainted Magic. That's the one that drew my eye just went right to that one.
Yeah, so that was fun and for a number of reasons. The first is because I had this dream, as I always do. I had this dream, and as I frequently do, when it's a really, really good, intriguing dream, it doesn't matter what time it is. I'll grab my phone and I'll use the voice recorder, and I'll just record it. And so I did. It's a 9-minute recording, and at the end of the recording, I'm going, God, this feels like some kind of Western. What the heck am I going to do with that? The next day, literally the next day, I'm at Cocoa Beach, where I met you for the Space Coast book thing, and I get a text from S.E. Smith, and she says, "Do you want to write in my world? It's Magic, New Mexico." And I'm like, holy shit. Magic, New Mexico is her paranormal science fiction Kindle world. And I love her stuff. I love her. She's a brilliant person. And it just snaps. Like, I just dreamt that story last night. Yes, I want to write in your world. So that's what Tainted Magic is. That was my first dip into paranormal, and I'm going to come back again because I'm going to tie it all together. But this is a witch and a wolf shifter. So, and it was a dream. Like, what am I going to do with this weird Western light dream? And the next day, I got the answer. This is when the universe speaks. I love it when that happens.
That again, we're to this thing of the electricity in the air, and you put it out there. Yeah. You asked the question, and it came back to you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is the way life works when you're open to it.
Yes, that is the key. Yeah. We have to be open. Now, you did Vega Falling. And
Yeah,
the one that I'm the one I'm saving
so
over here we're going to talk about. Yes.
Yeah, twice tethered and Vega falling.
Yeah. Tell me about these.
So this was, again, another dream, and also inspired by a friend of mine, Juliet Cross, who writes the Morgan series. And it's at its basest form, it's hot dudes with wings, but it is actually morphed into so much more than that. So it's humans and Sansari. And Sansari have wings and they fly, and humans don't. And there's tension between the races. And they start this country called Vega where they can live and work together. It's very contentious, you know, the Sansari in their country. If you go to Vega as a Sansari, then you're just communicated. You can't come back. You betrayed your country. Humans are a lot more open. They're like, okay, you can go. It's, you know, we're not gonna go there. And so it's an urban fantasy with a fair amount of political intrigue that goes on, because I'm always fascinated by that. And Vega Falling introduces a third species that people didn't know was there, which the whole thing, and that, so again, that was from a writer's perspective. When I found out what Damon is the president of Vega, and when I found out what he was during the writing process, I'm like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Really? He's that? So then it just spawned a whole nother. So there's 2 more books in that series at least that have to get done. And yeah. So everything I do comes from my subconscious, and everything I've written so far has a dream seed. There's at least one scene that sparked it.
And people that don't know us as writers, or don't understand us as writers, when we say dream seeds or we've dreamt it, or in my case, I'm driving down the road and an entire story smacks me in the mouth.
Yeah.
We have to stop right then and make the notes. We have to. Because if we don't...
That's why, like picking up my phone in the middle of the night and just blurting into the phone, because especially with dreams, because you forget them.
Yes.
You forget dreams if you don't do it.
Because they're fleeting. They're kind of like life.
They're ephemeral. They are. And they like to go away.
Yes, quickly. So if we don't write them down, and I carry a notebook everywhere I go anymore because I've lost so many thoughts that if I don't write them down, in fact, I was taking my girlfriend to the airport, and she had been sitting on my couch earlier in the day, and she had sent a picture of a car to her husband, and it was a pink car, but it was a pink Camaro, and instead of writing pink Camaro in the text line, she wrote pink canary. Well, as soon as she said that, this movie goes off in my head. Characters are screaming and talking, and I see everything from to the drag queen. Everything is just going off in my head. So as I'm taking her to the airport, she's on my phone typing in the notes everything I'm telling her.
Oh,
because
nice.
I can't lose it. And that's how the pink canary came about. So I can understand.
Get that.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Yeah. Get that voice recording app. It's just a voice recorder, and then you can transcribe it later, but you can just sit there and talk as fast as you can talk and get it all down.
I probably confuse myself on the days that the several voices are talking.
It's all good, though. It's all good when that's happening. That's what we do. We write it down.
Yes. What are you? Okay, you've got all these things coming out next year. What's coming out next year?
Oh, next year, yeah. So that's what's on deck, right? So this is going to be the multi-author world that I'm doing. That's near future. I will hopefully do another Pets in Space because it's really fun. There's another Kinder world I'm interested in, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm leaving things open because this the near future thing has me in its grip, and I love it because, okay, have you seen, please tell me, well, I don't know, if you're not into sci-fi, then probably not, The Expanse, the show, or read the books? No. Okay. Everybody listening, go check out The Expanse. It's S.E. Corey, who is actually two guys that wrote a series of books that are brilliant and fantastic, and they've turned it into a TV show. It's on the Sci-Fi channel, and they just finished season 2, and they're filming season 3, and it is one of the coolest, smartest, sexiest, kick-ass women sci-fi shows that have been on deck for many, many, many years. I love this thing. Absolutely love this thing.
Nice. I will have to check that out for sure.
Yeah. The Expanse is definitely worth checking out. The other one I liked that they canceled, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they canceled it, was Dark Matter. I liked that one too. That was good. That explored a lot of aspects of humanism and androids and what it means to be an android versus a human when you're a sentient android. And yeah, I like going to those places.
So do we see some of that type of stuff in your future?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of stuff in my future, and you're going to see a lot of near future optimism. A world of abundance, as Peter Diamandis likes to say, abundance in the future. And there's so many people writing dystopian. I don't need that, and I'm not going there. I'm taking it the other way. People are still going to be people. The story's going to be interesting because we can be jerks and we do stupid things. But the world in which we live is brilliant.
It is. It really is. So would it be fair to say, Sabine, I would like for you to come back in April or May. You would have something and come back and visit with me?
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Sweet. Well, I will send you some dates because sadly our hour is almost up.
It is. I just noticed that. Is it always at 8 o'clock at night?
See? It goes by so fast because it's just you and I having this wonderful conversation because I want to know more about how you became an electrical engineer and all this good stuff that we didn't even get to. So if I bring you back in April, we can just pick right up where we left off and take off again.
That would be brilliant.
Well, do me a favor. Please tell the folks where they can find you and your books because people are wanting to go get them and they can't leave the show yet because we're still live.
The easiest one would be SabinePriestley.com, SabinePriestley.com.
And are you on Amazon?
I'm on Amazon. I'm on iBooks. I'm on Nook. I'm in Barnes & Noble, I'm everywhere. Yeah, I know. I'm all the places.
And she's also on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you friend her on Facebook because she's got an amazing Facebook page. But this woman is
thank you. Yes. Please do. You can never have too many friends.
No, and you are an amazing, empowered woman. And I love it.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you.
And we need more of us, and we need to shine that light bright.
Yes, ma'am, we do. We really, really do. And like I said, don't hang up when the show goes dark because I got some things to tell you. But I did want to say thank you so, so much for spending an hour with me and for educating me in a lot of things and educating these lovely listeners that we have and getting new readers because I can tell just by talking to you that your books take a different spin than anything else they've ever read before.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it very much.
going to have to get some myself, even though I don't read sci-fi, just because I'm a curious person, and you make me want to read them. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot go now. You can go in 5 minutes and order her books and hook up with her on Facebook. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, because I am taking my son out for his 58th birthday to dinner. So at 9 o'clock, instead of 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, author Joan Hazel will be our guest. So tune in for that. And I want to thank Sabine for taking an hour out of her day and spending it with me and talking about all kinds of things. And I apologize for the phone ringing while we were live. My daughter, I guess she forgot I had a show tonight. Just wait till I get off the phone here. Well, I'll be getting a hold of her. She's in trouble. But Sabine and I were just talking about being empowered as women. And we can be empowered. We should be empowered. And the way we do that is we don't just feel special, ladies and gentlemen. We are special. We become special. And the difference between who we want to be and who we are presently is what we do. So think about that. What we do,
exactly. Yes.
It is. Yes. And good or bad or indifferent doesn't matter. That's who we become. What we do is who we become. One day you'll be just a memory for some people. So do your best to be a good memory. Don't be that person that when they go to the funeral home and they look in the casket and they're doing your eulogy and someone says, well, they had nice hair. I mean, that's the best they can think of. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we can do better than that.
I would hope so. If you want to achieve greatness, please, please, please stop asking for permission. Because nobody's going to. No, right, Sabine. Nobody's going to give it to you, are they?
No, they're not. It's all about you. And it's like you said, the difference between the person you are now and the person you want to be is in what you do. Mm-hmm. Go do it.
And be happy doing it. Whatever it is, be happy. If that's what you want to do it. Be happy doing it. Just be productive. Because when we're no longer here, we want to leave our trademark. And y'all know I say this at the end of every show. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. And the way that you leave others feeling after having had that experience with you, that does become your trademark. They'll never remember your name, but they will always remember how you make them feel. And I hope and pray that all of my listeners and all of my guests leave our show feeling like it was the best hour they spent with me, because that is the end game. Our brand is not what we do, what we sell. Our brand is who we are. And again, Sabine, I want to thank you so, so much for taking the time to spend an hour with me and laughing with me and talking with me and educating all of us, because it has been an amazing hour.
Thank you very much for having me. I truly enjoyed it.
And you're not nervous at all anymore, are you?
No, this is fun. Like you said, it was just hanging out and talking. I can do that.
Exactly. Yes, and she's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get your knickers in a twist. She'll be back next year, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, as we say in Georgia. So I want to remind you again, tomorrow night the show will be on at 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. I want to say thank you again for joining me here on Off the Chain. As your host, I am Yvonne Mason, and with Sabine Priestley, we both want to say how much we do appreciate each and every one of you, and how we look forward to being here with you and sitting down with you and learning things together, because this is what it's all about. So in 5 seconds, go ahead.
I just want to jump in and say, in hearing from you, because it really is, there's nothing better than hearing from people that somehow you've touched. So if anything that we have said tonight resonated, then please reach out and say hi.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and then Wednesday night we'll go back to our regular 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. I am your host, Yvonne Mason, with my guest, author Sabine Priestley, and we say, have a great rest of the weekend and good evening.
Good night, all. Bye.
Okay, we are now off the air, but what we said, of course, will go up in the archive portion. But what will happen is when I close out the show, the thing will upload into archives. And when it does, I'm going to put the link on my page and tag you in it. My gift to you, my darling, is for you to take this show and do whatever you want to with it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Tomorrow,
I will put it up on podcast.com, Podcast Garden, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Spreaker. I will also send you those links to do whatever you choose.
I was going to say, I have no idea where they are, so please do educate me on that, yes.
I will send you the links, and this show is heard on those 5 podcasts, plus iTunes, TuneIn Radio, FM.com, YouTube, and several other podcasts that other people put the show up on. So that's how we're heard all over the world.
Great.
So I will send all of that to you. Yes, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Well, I am glad that you're comfortable, because I want all of my guests to be comfortable. And it once you get over the first 3 minutes, it's just you and me talking.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. You do great, but you're a big part of that because you do make people comfortable.
Thank you. You made my night. I appreciate that so much. And I hope to see you in Cocoa.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be back. Definitely be back.
Okay. And I will send you, in fact, all of April is open right now, and the show runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you just pick a date, and I'll put you down.
Oh, great. Give me a Wednesday.
Okay. Pick one. Go and look at your calendar, see what you've got open, and we'll do a Wednesday. Okay?
I'm so easy. Okay. I'll shoot you an email, okay?
All right, darling. Or either send me on Instant Messenger, either one.
Okay, will do. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, I make sure my family's always stylish, and all I want in return are those 3 little words.
Thank you, Mom.
Nope.
All on sale?
Yes.
Go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, get 30% off your entire purchase at Old Navy's Thank You event.
30% off everything, even jeans, sweaters, and jackets?
30% off all of it, and Old Navy card members get 40% off at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
I heard that.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 10/11 to 10/15. Excludes in-store clearance, gift cards, register lane items, jewelry today only, and 2-day only deals. 40% off or subject to credit approval. See stores for details and exclusions. Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, I make sure my family's always stylish, and all I want in return are those 3 little words.
Thank you, Mom.
Nope.
All on sale?
Yes.
Go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, get 30% off your entire purchase at Old Navy's Thank You event.
30% off everything, even jeans, sweaters, and jackets?
30% off all of it, and Old Navy card members get 40% off at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
I heard that.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 10/11 to 10/15. Excludes in-store clearance, gift cards, register lane items, jewelry today only, and 2-day only deals. 40% off or subject to credit approval. See stores for details and exclusions.